It's been said before that you can spot or identify a McWhorter from all the way
Oh,
across the board.
100%. And that to me, that's the greatest compliment.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, what I tell people, other cue makers, is two very, very important pieces of advice that I would give. First, number one is really try to define your style and define a look. And what the examples that I always give is if you hear Willie Nelson, Neil Young, Bob Dylan, Joni Mitchell, you hear all those voices instantly, you just know who they are. So having a recognizable sound is everything. That's the most important thing. Having a recognizable style is really important. So define what that style is as best you can and do that. The other thing that I would give, the other piece of advice I would give might be just maybe more important, is in the same realm, is I built a 3/8 10. It was a 3/8 10 screw, which I got from the idea from Southwest of going straight into the wood, and the style of cue that I build. I've never built anything else. I've never put a stainless joint on in my life. I've never put an insert into a shaft in my life. I've never done any of that stuff. So too many cue makers now approach it like, you want a stainless joint, you want a plastic joint, you want an insert, I give you 5/16, 3/18, 3/8 10, I give you a radial pin, I give you, oh, I offer all these things, do all this stuff. To me, that's like the worst decision you can make. You're not defining yourself, Not everybody can be Frank Sinatra, but you can be Neil Young. And that, when people know who you are and know what you do, that's very powerful. When you try to be everything to everybody, you end up being nobody to anybody, And I think that's a really important piece of advice. Or people that, so like traditional Balabushka type cues, they call those like, where they do a kind of an homage or do that style of cue or something.